That was the Houston Rockets, the worst team in the NBA, beating the Los Angeles Lakers. This happened last night, as many of you probably know. The Lakers lost 114 to 110, but it was never that close. They were down at one point, I think, 18. They kept cutting it down to 12, 8, 9 points, but obviously never ended up securing the game. They started off terribly. They were lackluster, shots were not falling, but most of all, Anthony Davis did not play because he does not play back-to-backs, which is not something that he decided, but something that the coaching staff decided for him. Unfortunately, once again, as the Lakers did a couple nights ago against the Knicks, they had a chance to get to 500, but fumbled and lost that opportunity yet again to one of the worst teams in the NBA, as I mentioned, if not the worst. So obviously, as you can tell, I'm very disappointed as a Laker fan. It seems like the team is going to get better, or they're doing better. They were 9-4 for this game since they traded all of the players and had all of the players playing. In the last 15 games, they were 9-4. Now they're 9-5, and this is by far the worst game that they've played. I was listening to a podcast about the Lakers yesterday before the game, and they were talking about how even if when they lose, they never look like they give up, and they never look like they take the game off. Well, last night it definitely looked like that. They were lackluster from the start, as I said. And yeah, they could have won this game, but that's simply because the Rockets are such a bad team that they gave the Lakers every single opportunity to get back in the game, and even then, the Lakers could not do it. Troy Brown had 8 points, which was pretty good. Jared Vanderbilt had 13, 5, and 10. He's always solid. I'm never going to criticize him because he's always such an energy guy. He defends like crazy, and even though he's very undersized, which the Lakers as a whole were yesterday, they got killed on the inside. Vanderbilt played very well, as I said. 13 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Vanderbilt is the only guy that I'm kind of happy with from last night's performance. D'Angelo Russell had 18 and 7, but he was playing sloppy, terrible defensively last night. Malik Beasley had 16 and 3, but only shot 4 for 12 from 3, which isn't bad, but he didn't hit the ones that the Lakers needed. The best player by far was Austin Reaves, 24 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds. He really was the only reason the Lakers were even that close. Every time the Lakers started falling behind by 15, 18 points, Austin Reaves would hit a jump shot, get an and one, go to the free throw line, or get an assist or do something to turn that tide around, but ultimately it wasn't enough. Like I said, the biggest problem last night was lack of size, and this resulted in the Rockets getting a majority of their points from the paint, which makes sense because the Rockets are the worst three-point shooting team in the NBA this season. They're also just the worst team in the NBA with a record of 17 and 52. However, I think last night's game is a lot more than just the Lakers missing Anthony Davis. Obviously, they were undersized, and Wendy Gabriel is about 6'9" and not capable of defending any of the centers on the Rockets, or just anyone that's really kind of big, because a small forward is basically Wendy Gabriel's size, and Wendy played the center position last night for the Lakers. That's how undersized they were. But however, I think more than being undersized, last night for the first time since this trade happened, the Lakers seemed like they took a game off because they felt like it was going to be an easy win for them. They took their foot off the gas and felt like, well, it's the Rockets, we'll win either way, and they were lackluster from the start. They got down big, and when shots weren't falling, it was really difficult for them to get back into the lead, and they couldn't. The only time they led was when they were up 1-0. They didn't lead the rest of the game. And I know that the Rockets just beat the Boston Celtics, so anything can happen. But I think this is more so the Lakers' fault than it is Houston playing a very good game, because they didn't. Houston played a really mediocre game. However, the bigger point is, once again, the Lakers disappointed the fans and just probably the coaching staff as well, which I'll get into the coaching staff in a bit. But once again, they have a chance to go 500 and really make a difference, like in the standings. They're 10th right now, and they were 10th yesterday. Luckily, nothing really changed in the standings for them. I mean, the Mavericks beat the Spurs, but that was expected, and the Warriors lost to the Clippers. And so much didn't change. Like between the Warriors and the Lakers, there's still only 2 games, so nothing is over for them. There's still 12 games left in the NBA season, so there's still a long ways to go. However, playing like this against such a terrible team just shows where like the mindset of these players are sometimes, and it's not good enough to do anything in the playoffs if they get in to the playoffs. And it also shows the importance of LeBron James as well, just being on the floor. Even if he plays terribly, just him being on the floor is so crucial for a team like this. So moving on from just the players, also coming into the coaching staff and talking a little bit about them, I actually have enjoyed watching Darvin Ham get used to this roster and like the changes that has been made, and also see him try and work things out with the terrible roster that they had before the trades were done. I don't think that in any way Darvin Ham is a bad coach. I think that he's actually pretty good. Again, it's his first year, and so there will be some time to adapt and change and get better. And I believe that if the allotted time is given to him, he will be a very good head coach. It's just that he makes adjustments so late all of the time. He is constantly using lineups in games where even if they don't work, he keeps them on for like another minute or 2 minutes, or doesn't take a timeout, and that makes the whole thing just tumble. And then he changes guys in, subs people in the hopes that it will turn things around. And sometimes they do, but sometimes it seems like, well, if you just take that timeout earlier or make that substitution earlier, things will be easier. You know, sometimes it does play in his favor, so it's not like 100% of the time he's wrong. However, that is a tendency that I've seen throughout the season in him that is becoming a problem, and might even be a bigger problem when there's even bigger games. Also, I know that Anthony Davis' health is a really serious issue. He's someone that has gotten injured plenty of times. Last season, he was basically out the entire season. This season is a little different. He's a little better, but he has missed a lot of games as well. He's a very fragile player in terms of he just gets injured very easily, you know. But I feel like when there's a chance that you can go 500 and you blew it against the Knicks, right? If you had won that game, beat the Pelicans, which they did, and then you go into this game already over 500, maybe you can say, okay, well, Anthony Davis deserves a day off. But Anthony Davis played terrible against the Raptors, against the Knicks. He played well against the Pelicans, but so did the entire Laker team. They were up 40 at one point, so they were obviously hot. Even Malik Beasley, who has played terribly since he's gotten to the Lakers, had a great game against the Pelicans. But I feel like resting Anthony Davis in such a crucial game, even if it is against the Rockets, wasn't a very smart move. I feel like a better move would have been to play Anthony Davis, get a big lead like you did against the Pelicans, and then sit him. If you're up 30 against the Rockets, it's over. The Rockets are not coming back. And so you can just sit Anthony Davis after the third quarter, after you get a big lead, which you can easily do against the Houston Rockets. But instead of doing that, they gave up another win. Overall, I wouldn't say that this season is over for the Lakers and it's all over. They're not making the playoffs. Nothing's going to happen. This team is terrible. I think that this team is very great. They're very good and could be great. Actually, I believe that they are good with just Anthony Davis on the floor. And when you add LeBron, even if he's 80%, they will be the scariest team that you can face in the playoffs for any of the higher seeds. The Nuggets would not want to see them in a 7-game series fully healthy. The Kings definitely don't want to see them in a 7-game series. And the Grizzlies definitely don't want to see them either, even if they have Ja Morant and Steven Adams on their roster. And the other teams definitely don't want to see them fully healthy as well. I think that this team can easily beat, not easily, but they can beat any Western Conference team in the 7-game series. What can the Lakers do from now? Like I said, there's 12 games remaining, and they're in the regular season for them. They have a game against Dallas tomorrow, and they play the Spurs and the Magic, and they have the easiest remaining schedule in the NBA for their last 12 games. It's the easiest remaining schedule in the NBA. It was before they faced the Rockets as well. Obviously, sometimes it doesn't matter, like last night, but they do have the easiest schedule. I think we'll get LeBron back sometime like April 2nd against, I think they play the Rockets again on April 2nd. I think that's when LeBron is planning to make his return. So the earlier, obviously, the better. But tomorrow is a very crucial game for the Lakers against the Mavericks. I'm not sure if they will win. I know that Anthony Davis will play. Everyone but LeBron will play. But again, very disappointing that the Lakers lost against such a weak team. But the season's not over. I'm still hopeful that they will get in, at least to the play-in for sure, and hopefully to the playoffs. But we have to wait and see.